Welcome to Drawing with Miss Liberty. My name is Liberty Pearson, or my students call me Miss Liberty. Today we are doing a sketching lesson. The name of our lesson today is the Succulent poster. Our subject is a pot of succulents in a neat little frame. We did the drawing for this lesson on Wednesday, so 2 days ago. You could probably see the video in the list of videos prior to this one. We did this on Wednesday, so we sketched and inked our succulent in a pot. This one's a little bit different than that one because I did this earlier and then I did this with you on camera. So this is where you should be right now. You should already have your inked drawing. If not, you can go back in the videos and watch the previous video. The materials we started out with was paper, and a lot of paper because we don't want our ink to bleed through, and we also want to be able to start over. We also have a felt marker, thick felt marker, fine tipped pen, a pencil, preferably a soft lead pencil or something light. Mine's going to be a little darker than yours when I do my sketching so that you can see it on camera, but your sketching should be very light. I also have a kneaded eraser, my preferred type of eraser. You can use any eraser though, but this would probably be your best bet. I also have a 12-pack set of color pencils. These are just the normal color pencils you can get at the store if you wanted to go out and get a pack of color pencils. We're not going to use all of the colors, but we're going to use most of them. So in order to color like the first version that I did, you're going to need your violet, both of your blues, so your regular blue and your sky blue, both of your greens. You're going to need your regular green and your yellow green. And if you don't have these colors, the yellow green, you just take green, add yellow and white to it. Sky blue, you just take blue and add white to it. You're also going to need yellow. I don't think we're going to need orange for the pot. We're going to need the red orange for blending. And to make red orange, you just use orange and add some red to it. You're going to need your red, you're going to need your white, and if we get to it, you're going to need your black, but we're probably not going to need that one at all. We're not going to need brown today, so you can go ahead and put that aside. I'm going to put all my pencils in here. We are also not going to need our felt tip marker for this lesson. We're not going to need our fine tip marker for this lesson unless we want to touch things up. We're not going to need our pencil for this lesson. So we can go ahead and get this eraser out of the way. All right, so again, this is where you should be at right now. If you missed the sketching part of the lesson, and you only wanted to follow along with the coloring part of the lesson, then you can go to my website on the downloads page and download the inked drawing so that you can color it in. So you can do that now if you didn't have time. Hi Kelly, thanks for joining me. Okay, so if you have all your materials ready, we're going to go ahead and start. The first part of our subject that we're going to color is going to be the pot. It's going to be a terracotta pot, so it's going to be orangey, red orange. So we're going to go ahead and get started. So let's see, let me move this right here. I'm going to go ahead and start with orange, and you're going to lay down kind of an even light cover all over the pot. So just the pot. Hold your pencil like chopsticks so that you can control the pressure. And just to let you guys know, there's a lot going on today. We have our baby in the background. We have some construction going on at the neighbor's house, so please forgive us for the extra noise in the background. My cat also might try to join the video. I'm not going to color in the hearts. I'm going to leave those I'm going to color those a different color. So yes, please forgive me if it's a little noisy in the background. I should be able to edit most of it out when I go to put it on YouTube. So if you can keep up with me, that's all right. If you can't, just go ahead and pause it and then fast forward to where I've finished coloring. You probably barely see it in the video, but that's about, you should be doing an even light cover. And try to do it all in one direction if you can. This will help when we're blending or shading. Don't color in your string of pearls. Don't color in the little strands either. And we'll say these Crayola colored pencils, as expected, are not the best, but we're going to work with what we have. I usually use, and have before in the videos, used Prisma color pencils, but those can be very expensive. So we work with what we have. We're doing the whole terracotta pot, except for the hearts. We're not going to color in the hearts or our string of pearls. Hey Kelly, how are you doing? Are you able to keep up? Kelly is one of my viewers that's following the lessons with us, and she is doing her sketching and coloring on her tablet. If you'd be interested in those kinds of tutorial videos, we might consider that. Well, I might. I don't know about her. Okay, so after you've laid down a light cover all over, go ahead and angle your page and go over it one more time to make it just a little bit darker, going in another direction. So if we were going this direction here, that's why I turned the page instead of having to twist my wrist. And do it all over again. And try to keep an even amount of pressure. If you're using the Crayola color pencils and a kneaded eraser, you can erase if you make a mistake. I've noticed my Prisma colors do not. So it should be getting more orange when you go over it the second time. You should be going with an even amount of pressure lightly over the first layer. Because we're just going to build up with shading. And the more you go over it, the darker it will be. So you could keep going with this if you don't like it as light as mine is. But like I said, we are going to use the darkening technique to show our form and shadow. Okay, so you should have a nice even tone. A light orange across here. So what we want to do is we want to give our terracotta pot form. And in the original, what we did is we added some shadows on the side and underneath the lip of the terracotta pot. And then we also added, let's see if the camera will focus. Look at it. We added some contour lines to give even more of a form effect to it. So you could see those. So first we're going to start by shading it in those areas, and also if you notice there's some shadows underneath our strands of pearls, but we're going to do that a little bit later. First let's start building up the shadows on our side. So about up to here, so going this way up to here, we want to make it a little bit darker. And if you want to do it like me, turning my page in a direction that my hand is the most comfortable making the motion works the best for me. So along this little line, we're going to go ahead and build up some more orange. This also allows me to make my strokes with the contour. So you see how I'm kind of going the same as the curves of the pot. That will give you a better look. You can add a good amount of pressure this time. We're going to blend it after we get it dark. If you're using the Crayola mark pencils, you have to press a little bit harder than higher quality. You see how I'm making that nice and dark? So now I'm using a circular motion instead of just a straight motion to kind of blend it in. All right, and then next to that, you're going to go a little bit darker than this, but lighter than this in a circular motion to blend them to each other. And back here is getting hard to do that. Maybe. And until it looks seamless going from the light to dark. And then go ahead and darken it one more time. You can give it a lot of pressure now. And blend it out. Okay. So yours should look like that. It should be a little bit darker. If this transition is not easy, it looks like there's a line, just go next to it and blend that in as well. Use a circular motion. Don't apply too much pressure. And you turn your page and do the same thing over here. So about this far in, we're going to apply a good amount of pressure going in the same direction as the curves. Don't go over your hearts. We're going to color those a different color. All right, so we did our dark area. Now we're going to do our mid-tone area and blend it in. You might have to turn your pencil if you wear it down too much on one side. All right, go back in, make it even darker on the very edge, but don't forget to blend it. Okay. So there's our two sides. They should be about even. This one looks like it goes darker farther out. Blend it in. Okay, so that's the sides with our orange. We're going to stick with the orange for now. And now we're going to do the shadow on the bottom of the pot. And for that, because I want to use this curve, I'm turning my page around so that my hand makes this motion. So you're going to start to darken right where the pot hits the bottom. If you have a little bit of white that sticks out, that's great. You don't have to try for that, because what would happen is there'd be a shadow, but the light would bounce off the bottom. Blend that in. Just need it to be a little bit darker, not a whole lot darker. Add more if you want it to be even darker, and then blend it in. Okay, and we should have that on our pot down at the bottom. We're going to do a few more shadows. We have underneath the lip of the pot, there's going to be a shadow under there. So again, I'm going to turn my page upside down so that I can move with the curve. And just like you did the bottom of the pot, you're going to go underneath the lip. Add a shadow. You want it kind of dark and then blend it in. This blending doesn't have to be as seamless because you kind of want the shadow to have an edge to it. We're going to do the same thing. See, here's a correction I want to make. The top of the pot, the line is there, 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 and then it should also be here. You probably already did that, but I also want a shadow underneath that curve. So, and you want to leave a little bit of white between the shadow. And we want to put a shadow underneath where the succulent is going over the pot. We want it to kind of have a harsh edge to it, so you don't need to blend it too much. Do blend it, but not too much. We want to go under these peas. These don't have to be as blended. And what I'm also going to do, I'm going to stop you for a second. Our light is coming from the front. So we could choose to put our shadow on either side of these, but as a design choice, I'm going to put the shadow all on the left-hand side of these guys right here. So you're going to go down in here. Let me see if I could. You guys can't really see. Let me move you in. Get closer. No, closer. No, closer. Closer. So around my pearls, I'm going to put a shadow on the left-hand side, like that. And then on the strand, on the left-hand side, like that. And the same over here. You're going to give it a lot of pressure here because it's going to be a hard shadow. You're not really blend this in. And you're going to go over and you're going to do all of the strings of pearls that go over the terracotta pot. Left-hand side, left-hand side. It's kind of like how you shadow letters. Okay, so let's go ahead and work through all those, and I'm gonna step back a little bit. Step back. All right, so I'm gonna get back into it. You're really just tracing around the left side. Back here you won't really see it because it's already dark. And then this one I'm going to go on the left side just because it looks cool. And the bottom. And then you also want to get the ones that are hanging over the pot. Got that. Get underneath the ones that are hanging over the pot. There we go. All right, so if you did all your blending, you should be able to put your orange away for now. If you do need to take some time to sharpen your pencils, go ahead and do that. My orange is pretty worn down, but I don't think I'm going to need it too much more. So next you're going to grab your red orange, and we are going to do our contour lines and a little bit more shading. So we're going to start just like we started before. We're going to turn this here. And to make our contour lines, we're going to make lines like that. Don't press as hard. You probably want to press like that hard. But we're going to do contour lines going all the way up the side of our pot. You barely want to be able to see them. And you want to be going in the direction of the curve. Even on the top part. All right, not till you fill the area, but I just want to see the contour lines. All right, and we're going to take the red orange and we're also going to add a little bit more shadow on the edge. This will make it look darker without adding black. We're going to do the same thing on this side. Remember to follow the curve. It might be easier to go like this. Just add a bunch of them. They're kind of like eyelashes. That's how thick you want them to be. All right. Add a couple more. Okay. And then add a little bit more red at the tip here. And then I'm going to turn it upside down, add a little bit of red here. Just at the very edge. Same up here, just at the very edge. And right here, just at the edge. All right. And then you should be done with your terracotta pot. If you want to make it even more detailed, just go in and you can add more orange to blend in the red orange. Just go in the same direction. Notice this spot right here is a little too light, so I'm going to darken that up. I want that to be blended more. I want everything to be a little bit more orange, but not a lot. I like this light color. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and say we are done with our terracotta pot for right now. So next, another pretty detail-oriented part of the subject is the succulent right here. And the way I did that succulent in the original is I faded from magenta to green. It might surprise you, but I use green to make that dark edge instead of black. And I go through blue and violet to get there. But on this one right here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to fade from green to magenta, which means I have to mix the violet with the red to violet, and then add the dark green to get that really dark color. So I'm going to go from this color to this color to this color to this color. And I'm going to start from the outside in because I'm going to show you how to do one of them. And then I'm just going to start doing all the other ones and you can go along with me. So I'm going to start with this petal right here. Just pick one big one. And you're going to take the green and lightly shade just where it touches the other petals. And you're going to take the violet and you're going to go around the outside. Just a little bit. And you kind of want your strokes to go towards the middle. So if you got to turn the page, turn the page. This is violet, right? Yeah. All right, very lightly. I don't know if you could even see that. Here we go. And then you're going to take the red and go in between here very lightly. In between the green in the violet. Very lightly, because we don't want the red, we want like a magenta color. All right, so those are our three colors and we're going to blend them together. So let's go ahead and start with the violet and start making it, applying more pressure, making it dark, and you can take the violet all the way into the red. You can even go a little bit right there into the green. Make it darker. You should be able to see it a little bit more. And we go over the red. Okay, we're gonna pick up the red again. We're gonna blend pretty dark where the red is. But then we're also gonna bring our red blend into the purple. Don't go all the way across the purple, but do blend into it. And then take the green and darken the green. Just go right into the red with it. And then work your way back the other way. Just making it darker and darker and darker. More pressure, and move your strokes in the same direction as the growth. All the way out over the purple, blend it in. The only ones you're not blending over each other are the green and the red yet. But you can kind of blend them over each other. Come down with the violet. Apply a lot of pressure. You can even just go around the edge, just go around the edge. And until you get it the way you like it, just keep adding more and more and more. Green. Okay, so I think I'm pretty happy with that. Maybe I'm going to put a little red into the green. It's a little bit of a shock. Okay, so this is what I got so far. And now I'm going to add the green to the very edge once I get this purple as dark as I can get it. Violet. And then I'm going to add the green to make it look really dark. And then I'm just going to feather it around the edges. If it looks too green, just put some more purple, put some more violet on it. I'm also going to use this dark green as a shadow for the petals, because it's behind those petals. Okay, so that's how you would do each petal. So you could pick whatever colors you want to blend. And this one, like I told you, I used the red to the violet, make magenta to violet, and then I added the green. But for this one, I added the lime green or the yellow green at the beginning. All right, so keep going and do the rest of your petals. All right. You shouldn't have very much green on your petals. You'll end up running out of space and then just have a little bit of green. This might wear down your colored pencils. And get down into that red also, just to blend it in. You guys can't really see what I'm doing when I'm going over. No, I want to blend it. When you're blending, you can use the circular motions or the straight lines. Doesn't matter. If the green's too bright, just put some red over it. That should dull it out. Also, if you're trying to darken something, it helps to go in a circular motion. I'm going to take the dark green, I'm going to go around the edge. Go around the shadow of the leaf in front of it. And these petals that you only see the very edge of it, just go ahead and you could, this one in here, you only really see the back of it. So you go ahead and just make that violet and then put some green over it to make it darker. See how that happened? And I think that's something back there. If you don't see a lot of it, just color it with the violet and the green. This one can have some red in it. A little bit of red. Not much though. Okay, this takes a while. a little bit of that one. All right, I'm gonna take a drink of water. You guys just keep going. Okay, now let's see, where were we? This one might end up being all violet. I'm gonna need to sharpen my pencil. This one. I'm going too fast, so that's why you see my lines don't look that great. This project is a lot of time spent on coloring, so hopefully you have the patience for it. If not, just color it a solid color. That's fine. You could just do one color from light to dark, or from dark to light if you wanted to. Tidy up a little bit. There's a few more to go. Now we're just doing the outside petals right now. The inside petals, you don't have to do as much of a transition. Barely any red on that one. Like I said, you might not get to green. There might not be enough space. Where am I? There I am. Sometimes you're working on a color pencil piece and you don't know where you start and where you end. Oh, it's a little too green. A few more to go. If you feel you have more control over your pressure on the color pencils, you can color with more pressure in the beginning. But it's better to build up layers because you can't take it away once you put it on there. And blend them into each other. Blend them into each other. All right. So at this point, I'm going to start to take some shortcuts. You can keep going each petal exactly the same design if you want to. I have to do a time check. But what I'm going to do is all my petals on the inside, I'm going to start with green. And I'm going to fade to purple. Violet. That's the big ones. The tiny ones I'm going to leave all green. You blend them the same way we blended the red and the violet. Because we're running out of time, guys. So you can go around and put all the same color in its position. Like I said, you guys could go petal by petal. You guys could do the same design in each petal. You can switch it up. But I'm speed coloring so that we can make the time for today. If it takes you longer, it's supposed to. That's what time spent is. Time spent doing something. Sorry, camera. You still there, Kelly? Still in the same direction. I'm running out of violet. All right, don't mind the background noises unless somebody's making something in the kitchen. For convenience, my office is very close to the kitchen. For food. Now I'm getting messy. Don't do what I'm doing. Don't rush. All right. So now I'm going to go ahead and move on. I know it looks really weird because I didn't add more violet. It should be more. Keep building it up. Add more till you get those really nice colors. I think it really wants some red in there. Maybe I'll go back and squiggle some red in there. I'll do that a little later. But first, let's move on to our pearls. Pearls are easy. Pearls, we're going to use our regular green, and you're going to lay down a light layer of this over all of your pearls. If you have good control of pressure, you could apply a little more pressure, but you want even coverage, even on these little guys. Get it to some good pigmentation. I recommend using a circular motion for circles. Try to stay inside the lines. So you want even, kind of medium tone. Did I get them all? I got them all. Okay, so with a lot more pressure, you're going to, let's say this is your pearls, or these are. You got some nice even coverage. And you're gonna go over every pearl, at least the ones you can see most of it, and you're gonna kind of make a little moon across the side, like that. And that'll start to give them form. So you're gonna go through after you get your even shade. If it's not dark enough going in one direction, turn it to the side and come back the other way. Give it more pigment. But then you're gonna go in with each little pearl and make a moon. Use a good amount of pressure. Any pearl you don't see all of it, it's like hiding in there. Just color that all dark. This might take some time, but it'll be worth it. Can you hear that? The ice cream man is driving by. Ice cream person. keep going until you get them all. If you put down your green too dark the first time around, and now when you go to put the shadows in, you don't see it, use the blue and just don't press as hard. So the blue will be your shadow. If they're buried, you can color them all like that. Not buried. You could also blend that shadow in if you want, but I like the poster effect on this one. Really makes them pop. Again, if you want it to be darker, then you can get it with just the green. Use the blue to add your shadows, but don't forget to blend it in by adding some blue to the whole of the pearl. Let's see. Okay, I think I got them all. All right, the easy one is going to be our cacti back here. You're going to use your yellow green. You're going to lay the color down evenly. Again, if you have good pressure control, go ahead and make it as dark as you want, but otherwise build up. Go over it once, turn it, go over it again. You want even pressure, even tone. And then we're also going to use some more pressure around the edges to give it some circular form. Our light ball would be right here, so we want to darken around it. And then we want a little bit darker behind that color there. We can go ahead and take our regular green if we want to add some more shadow. All right, I'm going to color my flowers magenta or pink by taking my red, putting my red down very lightly. And then I'm going to take my white and go over it, blend it in, lighten it up. Okay, if you haven't done this already, we skipped this part. You're going to do the little lines of the strands. Go ahead and just color those in with your regular green. You could put shadows on those if you want to, but it's unnecessary. All right, so next are these succulents here, the little toes. I'm going to give you an example of how I did those. So those look like that. Bring that up there. You are going to start with the red and do better coloring job. This is just an example. Start with the red, go about 3/4 of the way down. You can add a good amount of pressure and pigment, and then we're going to take the yellow green, and that's going to start at the bottom, and it's going to go just over the red. It's not going to go all the way up. It's going to go just over the red. And you could do it at varying levels. So you could have more or less green. And then blend the red over the green. So like that. So you're going to do that to every single petal. So what I recommend is that you take the red and you do the red on all of them. If you have good control over your pressure, go ahead and apply a lot of pressure, otherwise apply light pressure and go over it a few times. So if I'm looking straight at this one, this whole thing would be red. This whole thing would be red. Sorry if it's hard to see. And then come in with your yellow green. And just blend it right into the red. Go over it a couple of times, back and forth, red, green, just to blend them in and give them more pigment. Unfortunately, I don't have time to do that, but you do. You could keep going. After the end of our videos, you could always keep working on your project. You don't have to follow along with me exactly. You could do different colors. If you wanted to make a unicorn succulent, you can make a unicorn succulent. Okie dokie. And then for the stems of these, we're going to put the green and the red down and make kind of a brown, reddish brown. Yeah. All right, I'm gonna let you guys catch up to me for a moment. I checked the time. We have about 10 minutes left. So like I said, I want to add some red in here. I don't like what I did there. It needs the red, right? It really likes to have that red. Then I'll go back and blend those in. Put some more violet down, put some more green down till they all blend in. All right, I'm going to color my little hearts red, of course. Like I did all these beautiful petals on the outside and then I got rushed on the inside. It's not as beautiful. Or was I just working right there? I'm just working on my petals. You guys keep working on what you're working on. One stands out because all the other ones have the red and the violet mixed together at the end with the green. As Kelly, it's absolutely okay if yours doesn't look just like mine. We're just here to have fun. Hey Mom, thanks for joining. Okay, so next we're gonna do our background. You could pick whatever colors you want for your countertop, is what I'm gonna call it, and your background here. I used the dark blue in my original, the regular blue. I didn't like it, I'm not as happy with it. So I'm going to go ahead and use the sky blue this time. Let's see how this looks. Use a circular motion going in the same direction, even amounts of pressure, you know, the usual. If you have good control of your pressure and flow, then go ahead and make it as dark as you want as you go along, but otherwise start with the light pigmentation and then just go over it again later and add more pigment. So I like this blue a lot better than the regular blue. Not personally, just for this project. So if I wanted it darker, I'd just go in the other direction. Bless you, whoever sneezed out there. It's allergy season, people. You have allergies? I have allergies. Okay, I'm gonna call that a finished background. And then on this, I chose a wood counter. I don't like that anymore. I don't want a wood counter anymore. I'm gonna have a white counter, so I'm just going to leave it white. And I'm going to do my frame in brown instead. I know I said we wouldn't have to use brown, but I was mistaken. So you do need brown. I know you put it out of the way. Bring it back. So we're gonna do this similar to what we did on our background, is we're just gonna lay down an even layer. If you like it like that, you could just stop there and just leave it a solid color. But we're gonna fade from dark to light. Yeet. Yeet. Okay, and then so all we're gonna do is we're gonna go close to the edge, we're gonna make it darker, and then we're gonna fade it out. So close to the edge, darker, fade it out. It's gonna get hard when you get by the pearls, so just be careful. All right, you do each side, don't do the center yet, I mean the corners yet. You know what we covered in a much earlier lesson, maybe last month, or how long have I been doing these videos? 2 months ago. But we did some wood grain for texture when we did our elements of art. And if you want to put some wood grain on your frame, that might be a cool idea. You can even put shadows if you want behind your subject, like that. Same thing here on the left hand side, of course, remember. We're doing it on the left just as a choice. But go ahead and keep, oh, my cat just discovered I'm in my office. And just keep building up until you get it the way you want it. And then here on these corners, what I did is I just mimicked that curve and then blended that in. Just the curve, and I even extended out, but you don't have to. Just blend that in. Just the curve. And blend it in. And just keep building up until you like it. With color pencil pieces, sometimes you work on them longer than you intend to. All right. And like I said, I'm gonna leave this down here white. I like a white countertop. It looks really sweet. You can sign it if you want to. I'll go ahead and down here do my poster sign. So it's like LP 2020. There you go there. So if you haven't finished yet, just keep working on it. Doing this succulent is really difficult, takes a lot of time. Coloring backgrounds and shading on the frames, that could take a lot of time. You might want to make your terracotta pot build up a little bit more. You could also take your black color pencil and add some more shadows if you want. For instance, I'm going to add a shadow underneath my pot. You can do that. Or you can make these darker if you want. It's up to you. So that's the end of the lesson for today. We went a little bit over time and I apologize for that. But again, you can download the printable copy of today's lesson, just the line work, and you can color it, or you could do the drawing part of the lesson, which will be published ahead of this one on my videos list. And hopefully you had a good time and you learned something and you spent